Of course, he's credible. The account is correct. It has not been actually shown to be wrong in any meaningful way. The United States did this. The German government should explain to the German people what's going on. Period. This is not even a mystery. The United States announced it would do it. The United States celebrated when it happened. Victoria Nuland, who is the point person of the U.S. neoconservatives, said that the administration is delighted that Nord Stream 2 is a hunk of metal at the bottom of the sea. There are only 2 or 3 countries that could have done this. I don't think Germany did this. I doubt it. But if the German government did it, they should tell us. I don't think that Sweden or Denmark did it. It's in their exclusive economic waters. The United States did it, warned it, celebrated it, and anyone who understands U.S. politics at all knows that for many years this was an absolute cause of the right wing to stop this pipeline. Now, the failure of the German government and the media to discuss this goes to absolutely foundational issues of democracy, because right now the public is not informed about almost anything that is of fundamental significance for our survival. The real issues of the war in Ukraine, the real state of the war, the U.S. blowing up the pipeline. The mainstream media think that it's perfectly appropriate not even to cover these stories. And by the way, is this conspiracy theory? Yes, it's a conspiracy. A conspiracy means that several groups work together to carry out an illegal action. This is a conspiracy of U.S. policy leaders, probably together with the German government, which probably knew about this in advance or parts of it. I'd be very surprised if the German government doesn't know about it in detail now. So yes, this is a conspiracy, and calling it a conspiracy theory only makes clear no individual could have blown up the Nord Stream pipeline. This was a group. This was a very hard thing to do. It's 70 meters below sea level. It was delayed detonation. If anybody knows about Nord Stream, it's encased in a massive amount of concrete. This was a big operation. So a conspiracy? Absolutely yes.
At the end of February, you held a speech at the United Nations Security Council and stressed the need for an independent investigation into who bombed the Nord Stream pipeline. How have major countries such as the United States, Germany, the UK, Russia, and China responded to this call? And what do you think the international consensus will be if it ever turns out via whistleblower independent investigation that it was the US?
Well, the Western countries don't want to talk about facts, investigation at all. The Russian government asked for an investigation, an independent UN Security Council-led investigation, not a Russian investigation. The Chinese government supported Russia in this, and the United States said, this is a distraction. From what? I'm not sure, because it's a pretty central issue to blow up a major piece of infrastructure in international waters. It's not a distraction. It's a major issue of threat to the peace, which is the job of the UN Security Council. So the Western governments right now believe that the public does not need to know, and in fact should not know, basic facts right now, even as we head towards World War III. This is not acceptable. Maybe I'm wrong. Investigate it. You know, but the United States says, no, don't investigate it. That's a distraction. Well, I think it's a distraction most likely from U.S. culpability. But to not investigate? What kind of attitude is that. And it is, again, I have to emphasize, fundamentally a threat to our democratic institutions. The German government doesn't speak to the German people about this. The Bundestag can't get information. The Swedish government went down to the crime scene and then announced that they would keep their investigation secret from Germany and Denmark. Duh, that's a little strange. Or from the UN Security Council. If people think that secrecy is safety right now, they really misunderstand what's happening. We are at the greatest risk of nuclear war in modern history. We are 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. We've not had a crisis like this since the Cuban Missile Crisis. And our governments don't talk to the people like grown-ups. It's propaganda and spin morning till night.
Let us now look into recent developments surrounding Ukraine. The last time I interviewed you, debate on battle tanks was still ongoing. Now it has become a reality, and training of Ukrainian soldiers on how to operate these battle tanks is taking place on German soil as we speak. It is expected that these tanks will go into operation sometime this month. The debate is now moving slowly to fighter jets, and the UK and Netherlands have, for example, voiced their support for sending them. In UK's case, they are already training Ukrainian pilots. During German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's visit last week to the White House, the US also announced another round of military assistance to Ukraine worth up to $400 million. So far, the US has sent $30 billion worth of military aid to Ukraine. Do you think more weapons, especially fighter jets, and military aid could change the tide of war in favor for Ukraine?
Look, there's a bottom line, which is that Russia has 1,600 nuclear warheads. And if Russia were threatened with defeat, for example, losing Crimea, it would likely use them. So the idea of the goals of the war, the tide of war, what we're trying to do, it makes no sense at all. I don't want Zelensky to get us all killed. When Zelensky says they retake every bit of Ukraine as he defines it, including Crimea, no thank you. None of this makes sense. None of this is an honest assessment about the sources of this war, the provocations on both sides, the way to stop this war. None of it. All of this bluster, not just bluster, that's the wrong word, all of this military escalation cannot lead to success, period. It can't. Because even if it led to success on the battlefield, it will lead to global destruction. And there's a very good chance it won't lead to success on